Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave.
And in this video, we're going to be looking at the topic of selling internationally the easy way.
Now, some of you may have heard this before called CBT or cross-border trade, and it's exactly the same thing.
That's right. Now, we don't think it needs to be complicated, and as you're going to find out in this video, that is actually really easy to do, and there's lots of low-hanging fruit available for you to go and start with and to go and cut your teeth with when starting out to sell internationally. Now, Dave, why should we even consider selling internationally? I think it's like the pivotal question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And we've got two key reasons. And the first one is profit. You are going to be expanding your potential audience massively by selling internationally. So it only seeks, as long as your business is profitable in the meantime, if you set up international trade or CBT the right way, that profit is only going to get bigger.
That's right. So let's look at this really simply, is that if you sell in more marketplaces, in more countries, then more people are going to see your products, which then means that you have more chances of selling your products, thus more sales, and yep, you guessed it, more profit. Now, Dave, there is one little side shoot to this as well, isn't there?
There is, and that brings us on to sort of reason two, which is profitability. Now, if we think about this logically, Matt, if it takes us 15 minutes to create a product on our home eBay site, so for us it would be eBay UK, then how long does it take you to create the same product for Amazon?
It's not going to be 15 minutes, is it? Because we've already done the title, we've already done the description, we've done item specifics or bullet points, we've done stock control on it as well. And the images, we've done all the hard work about the item. We just need to port it to this other marketplace. Now, it's not going to take you another 15 minutes to do that. And if you've got really good software processes in place in your business, then it could be seconds, because it could just be another sheet within Excel, for example, and you just press save and it spits that one out for you, which you then import into your software.
So it is basically a case of, with minimal effort, you could potentially double, if not triple or quadruple, the amount of audience that you're putting your products in front of.
Yeah, that's right. Now, before you even consider selling internationally, we've brought up the topic of low-hanging fruit very, very early on. And the reason for that is like the number one reason, which I personally find with eBay and multi-channel business owners, is that specifically when it comes to eBay, it's the adequate population of item specifics is like their biggest win. If you want like the one win which most other people don't do in their business, but not you, because you're smart and you're listening to this, that is the adequate population of item specifics, and they're normally the biggest win for you and your business. Now, Dave, the other topic for item specifics is that they generally port really well to the other eBay sites.
Yeah, and this is totally not by accident, Matt. And for the past few years, eBay, as like a global entity, have really been focusing on getting item specifics and categories, for that matter, in a uniform manner, so that the category trees for eBay.com, eBay Germany, eBay UK, eBay Australia, no matter where you sell, the category trees will all follow the exact same path.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, there's going to be some little deviations in there for site-specific stuff, but as a general rule of thumb, the last 7 years of pain which we've been through in all these category changes has been to mop it up so that today it comes in really, really handy. So it should be pretty much like for like across all the major eBay sites. And that makes it a lot easier for you so that you can sell on almost the same category structure on the eBay Australia site to what it is on the eBay UK site as well. And it just makes structuring your data when you go and list that product into a new eBay site very familiar to you. Again, the labels may be slightly different, but the category structure is going to be very, very similar. There aren't massive changes between them. Now, Dave, there was a recent interview which we had with eBay, and Hannah from eBay said that sellers who list directly onto our international sites generate up to 8 times more revenue per listing. That's kind of like insane, isn't it?
That's just a crazy amount. That's coming from eBay, and it's almost a no-brainer. If you could get 8 times more revenue per listing, why would you not be selling on the international sites?
Indeed. Now, that last section's been a little bit eBay heavy. Let's go and have a look at Amazon for a few moments. Now, when it comes to Amazon, you're going to fall in one of two boats. Okay, so if your products already exist on Amazon, so if you're selling anything mainstream, the chances are those products which you sell are already going to be on the international Amazon sites. What we mean by that is that if you're selling on Amazon.com, likelihood that it's on Amazon.co.uk, for example. And if your products are already on there, then it's as simple as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need an ASIN or barcode or EAN UPC, the identifier for the product. You need a price. You need a quantity, a stock number or merchant SKU as Amazon calls it, and finally a condition. And on the flip side to that, if your products aren't on the international sites just yet, actually, Dave, that's a bit of a bonus. Do you want to just explain why that's a little bit of a bonus for somebody listening to this?
Yeah, totally, because this means that you can put some of your effort into making sure that this product is explained how you want it to be explained. Because if you're going to list against someone else's listing, you can't edit that. So if they've not done a great job on the 5 bullet points at the top or the title, then unfortunately it's a bit of a hard work trying to get Amazon to change those. Whereas if you're the creator of this unique product, you can go to town. You can put the best title that you can come up with, the best description, the best images, and the best bullet points. You have that freedom to really make that listing the best that it can be.
That's right. And again, the crucial point here is that if you create the brand new product on Amazon, is that Amazon then sees you as the creator. So if some plank later on comes along, and that's the best way of explaining it, because it's very annoying, is that if somebody else comes along later on and puts invalid information in there, is because you're the original creator, is that Amazon will take notice of your changes and overwrite theirs. And the way which we look at it, that's a massive opportunity for you. And the opportunity part is where your attention should be. Now, moving on to the other topic, Dave, which is the language barrier. Now, some people seem to get stuck on this one and try and do it like the really hard way. And by the way, this is where the easy bit comes in, as we're about to find out in a few moments' time. Now, Dave, what I've been and done is that I've been and itemised the eBay sites, and generally Amazon as well, in order of size. Okay, so we've got United States and Canada, they're the biggest. Then you've got Germany, then you've got the United Kingdom, and then you've got the other European sites, and then you've got Australia. So that's just like a rough proportion on the gross revenue for each of these sites.
Just to clarify, that's the other EU sites, that's like Spain, France and Italy as the main ones.
Yeah, that's right. Now, if we go and change that slightly and put it in order of language, this suddenly starts looking a little bit easier, doesn't it?
Yes, it looks a little less scary.
We've got English, German, English, multiple languages, crazy to do that, hasten to add, and English. And then if we simplify that even further, we've got easy, so that's the United States and Canada. We've got hard, which is Germany. And I've written that as being hard, because if you tried learning a new language lately, not going to pick that up in 5 minutes. So I've put that down as hard. Then you've got easy, because that's the United Kingdom. So if you're in the United States or in Australia listening to this, then the UK should be like one of your focal points for this. And then you've got the other European sites, and I put really hard in there because then you need to learn French, Spanish, Italian.
And people think that Spanish and Italian and French are all pretty similar, but no, not if you're going to be selling their totally different languages or with you. There may be the odd word which is similar, but to list like fluently, you're going to need 3 separate languages.
Yeah, minimum, I hasten to add. And the thing is, that's really hard to do, and it doesn't need to be that way. So if you're offered the choice of easy, or easy, which one would you choose for your business? And that's kind of our point, is that cross-border trade or selling internationally there's a lot of fluff out there for this marketing on it, and everybody tells you should be doing it, but nobody actually tells you where you should start doing it. And this is the point of this video tutorial, is that where you should start is in the English-speaking nations. So if you're based, say, in the United States and you want to sell in the United Kingdom, like worst case, you've got to spell a few words wrong. So you've got to put a U in colour or a U in favourite, for example. And then if you're in the United Kingdom and then want to sell to the United States or Australia to the United States, you've got to take a U out and spell some stuff wrong. And it's kind of simple as that, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, now we are simplifying things a little bit, whereas if you are based in the UK, you might call female clothing as ladies' clothing. Well, ladies really isn't an American term, so you need to look out for that. You want to call it women's, for example, if you're selling fashion. It's a few other little caveats like pants,
trainers and sneakers and stuff like that.
Okay, so we are skimming over the top bit slightly, but they're all really easy to understand. And of course, let's think about this a little bit deeper for a few moments. What about customer support? On Amazon, if a customer messages you in German, you've got to reply back in German. Otherwise, Amazon slap you. And what about trying to communicate with the customer? Google Translate or Bing Translator doesn't always cut it. If it was in English, it would be just like a million times easier. And again, the time zone is going to be slightly out, but when you open that email from that customer in a different country who also speaks English, it's just going to be so much easier for you. So
yeah, and guess what, Matt? If you forget to take the U out of colour, no one's going to mind.
Yeah, they probably won't notice. Now, on to one of my personal favourite subjects, and it's all about software. To go international the right way, you really do need decent software into place. And I'm going to explain why this is super important for you. So up on your screen right now, you've got 9 data points, and we put a pair of geeky glasses on the screen, but it could be any product in there. It could be a coffee mug, to an electric shaver, to a computer, to a juggernaut. It really doesn't matter. So number 1, you need a stock number. Number 2, you need a listing title, which, Dave, that's going to be no biggie for the translations. You might have to put a spelling mistake in it. Really straightforward. Now, one of these is in bold, and it's the stock level. And we're going to come back to that one because that one is very, very special. We've then got the description. Again, don't need to translate that, Dave. Put a spelling mistake or take your spelling mistake out, as the case may be, for that. You'll need a category, and that one's actually quite important. So as we mentioned earlier on, the different eBay and the different Amazon sites have slightly different category structures, but they're going to be very familiar to you because eBay have done their homework in the background and have sorted out the mishmash of sites. So they're pretty much like for like now. Item specifics, they should port almost directly across to the different international sites. And again, there will be some ones which are specific to each site, but as a general rule of thumb, they're going to be like for like. Images, a cost price, and an ideal selling price. Those are the kind of like the basic data points which you would need to enter about a product, whether you're using a sell your item form, TurboLister, or a piece of multi-channel software. Now, I did mention that the stock level is really, really important. So that if you are going to be using your software to sell in multiple eBay sites, the one thing which you do need linked up is the stock level. So imagine that you've got 10 of those sunglasses, radical that they are, and someone buys them on ebay.com, for example, and then someone buys them on eBay UK, and then someone buys another one from .com and another one from eBay Australia. Like, you're left now with 6 in stock. Now, if you don't have software in place which can then tell you that you started with 10, you've been and had 4 sales, and which will go back to those different sales channels and update the stock levels for you. And again, that could be your website, for example, a Magento website, or it could be Amazon as well. If you've not got software which can allow you to link at least by the stock level, then you're going to come unstuck. So I've actually got 4 questions for you which you need to ask and investigate with your current software provider. Dave, do you want to just read those out?
Yes, sure. So number 1, the first question should be, can I reuse the same product record more than once when I want to sell internationally? Number 2 is, if I make a change to that product, do my variations of it inherit the changes where desired? Number 3 would be, does this keep the stock levels correct if I'm selling on multiple sites and multiple sales channels? So
that's just like I explained a few moments. You've got the same item on multiple sales channels. If you receive a sale on one of them, does it go and update the other sales channel for you for the full quantity as well. Let's not do like a certain software company used to do a while ago, which is that if you've got 10 in stock, you want that 10 everywhere because that maximizes your marketing potential for those geeky sunglasses.
And finally, Matt, our fourth question would be, how are different currencies handled when it comes to listing and sales orders? And can you have different prices for different marketplaces? And that's a crucial one.
It is indeed. So those are the 4 key questions which you need to be asking your current software provider, or at least investigate if they're able to do this. Now, just a quick heads up, basic software from eBay or Amazon is not going to cut the mustard for you to do this. So that will be Selling Manager Pro, Turbo Lister, Blackthorn if you're still using it, or the Amazon Transport Utility or the import files for Amazon. Those kind of tools are not multi-channel tools, and they won't be up to this because they will fail at question number 1. So you do need to look at third-party software. Those 4 questions will get you on the right lines and get you the right answers from any software provider, regardless of their location in the world. Now, Dave, we are a little bit Magento biased and M2E Pro biased. Now, for those of us who have not met myself and Dave before, we believe in something called the 3rd generation, which is using Magento and M2E Pro. We're not going to bore you with the details. You can find out everything about that at understandinge.com at the end. Now, what we do have is up on your screen right now is that we've got a screenshot from a Magento admin panel. And this is really important. So can you see the 2 bullet points down at the bottom? So they're going to be bullet points which could come out in a listing on eBay or an item on Amazon for those nerdy sunglasses a few moments ago. And you've got some sunnies, they make you look cool. Now the key point is on the right hand side, there's a tick box there which allows us to overwrite those values or just inherit the product information if we want to. And it's this inheritance which is really key. So if you think back to those 9 data points earlier, we mentioned about the stock level, and that's number 1 priority. You do need to be able to get your stock levels true for listings and sales orders. But the other nicety, it's actually like a bare minimum, is that you also want the ability to override information at a site level as well. So if you do want a different listing title for Amazon, or you do want a different listing title for eBay, on our screen right now, or on your screen right now, in green, you can see that this is possible in Magento because you just untick that box and then write your new eBay title in there. And of course, if you don't want to use that, you just tick the box again and it will inherit the information from the original product record. So I hope I didn't lose you.
No, made sense to me, mate. And I'm really easy to lose.
Right, okay. So in short, go simple, go English. Okay, we think that everybody else is nuts, as in don't go and try and learn a new language or multiple languages when you've got such low-hanging fruit or easy wins right on your doorstep. So, for example, if you sell on Amazon.com right now, you've got eBay.com, you've got eBay CA, Canada, you've got eBay Australia, you've got Amazon.co.uk, you've got eBay.co.uk, you've got eBay Ireland. So in short, there's loads of easy win marketplaces available to you. So don't go and try and learn a new language. It's right here on your doorstep. Is that the categories will match. Most likely your products are already on these other marketplaces as well. And if they're not, as the case may be with Amazon, then there are some benefits to that. So Amazon will see you as the original creator. So don't try and learn another language. It's because the easy way of doing cross-border trade is that you just stay with English. And in fact, I dare you to exhaust all the English-speaking sites, because if you do exhaust them all, then that means that you're getting lots of number 1 back at the beginning, which is profit. Now, Dave, we do have some additional tips as well, don't we?
We do. The first of which is automated translation tools. Now, let's be clear here. Obviously, our key advice in all of this is, as we just said, go simple, go English. However, once you've exhausted all of your English options, you may then want to start dipping your toe in the other international options. And this is where automated translation tools can come in really handy.
That's right. Now, just to go on the record, that there is a company called Web Interpret, and it's a brilliant tool, and it will allow you to very easily see if there's demand for your products on the other eBay and Amazon sites. Now, notice how I phrased that. It's very easy to see if there is demand. And the reason why I phrased it in that manner is because the moment that you've been and confirmed that there is demand and it is working for you and your business, then do it properly. And what I mean by do it properly is that do it with humans and do human translation, because automated translation is no substitute for your success on the marketplaces. Again, do think about how much time and effort you put in to your English speaking sites. Why would you not put the same kind of time and effort into the international sites as well? So I do say do it properly, and that does mean human translations. Now, a little tip for you is that if you do want to dabble with automated translation, then my personal suggestion would be to use Bing Translator over Google Translate. The reason being is because it does tend to be more accurate for product descriptions. And if you're using the developers API for automatic translations, then the costs are much lower in comparison.
The next consideration is research. Now, this is really crucial when it comes to selling your products internationally, and something which a lot of businesses will overlook. We actually covered this, Matt, in a premium webinar back in April. And we looked at how easy it is to actually investigate the marketplaces for not just product ideas, but also some suggestions on how much products are selling for. And that's a key one.
Yeah, and research in English, is that not just an awful lot easier than trying to research in French or German or Italian? It just makes life easier. And again, that's why we're suggesting go simple, go English, because it does make the researching of the marketplaces much, much easier. Now, there are tools out there like terapeak.com. Yeah, it's a paid for tool, but you'll be able to base your efforts based upon fact rather than gut instinct, because eBay sells the sales data to Terapeak, and then you can mine it and you can see what kind of sales volume is being made on these international sites for you and your business. Now, moving on, next one, a CDN. Now, that sounds a little bit geeky. That basically means a content delivery network. Now, this is kind of aimed at business owners who use a Magento and M2E Pro. Now, there's many benefits to using a CDN. And actually for Magento, it's really straightforward to do. And what we're going to do underneath this video, we're going to include a link to a video tutorial, which we've got on YouTube for you. And it will show you what a CDN is, how to set one up, how much they cost, which is about like less than $10 a month, and all the benefits of why you want one and why you need one for your business.
Next up, the next consideration is shipping options. I was just saying more like couriers. Because just like with one of the most crucial parts of your business is making sure that your buyer gets hold of their product as quickly and efficiently as possible. And there's always going to be that fine line between the speed of delivery, the trackability, and ultimately the cost, because that does affect the profitability of your business.
Yeah, going back to point number 2 at the beginning, the reason why do you want to expand internationally? Now, one little tip for you, which is the grief of a lost parcel probably takes up a huge amount of your customer services time. So sometimes paying more is actually going to save you more money long term. But again, you do know your products best. We don't know if you're selling tea cozies or a juggernaut. So do your research on there. But our advice would be pay the little bit extra. It may be false economy, when if you could get a track service for a little bit more, it will save you time, effort, and ultimately money when it comes to customer services.
I think one tip from me there as well, Matt, would be that speak to your courier that you're already using for the UK. For example, if you're using something like DPD or UPS, chances are if you say to them you're looking at expanding your business internationally, they more than likely will have a service they can recommend for you. And if they do, chances are you may be able to get a better rate over your whole business with them due to sending more products. You know, it might bring the price down.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on, currency conversions. Now, this is kind of like a hidden cost to which can get lost in translation or in conversion, should I say. Now, basically, if you're using PayPal, they're going to charge you about 4% for the currency conversion. Or if you're using Amazon, then it's about 3%. Now, this is a hidden cost to selling internationally. Now, we did an interview with a company called World First, and again, we'll pop the link underneath this video for you. Have a listen to that interview, because you could be saving anything from £30 to £3,000 in currency conversion. So do your research on that as well. Oh, another little point with World First is that if you're having problems trying to create a bank account in a foreign country to accept payments, then World First, they've got that integrated into their system. Just a little point there, because I know that businesses which I've worked with, they've had challenges trying to get an American bank account or a German bank account, and World First just like solves that within a few moments. Really, really cool.
And the best things about World First is it's actually free. It's free to sign up. There's no integration costs. There's no setting up bank account costs or anything like it. It's all free. The way they make their money is on the conversion, but the way that you save money is on the conversion. So basically, instead of PayPal taking 4% or Amazon taking 3%, World First take 2%, whereas that means you're saving 2 or 1% on the currency conversion. Everybody wins.
Yeah, they do indeed. Talking about money as well, tax and VAT. Now, this is a minefield, and I'm steering well clear of this one because I'm not an accountant, nor am I an expert in this area. So basically, go careful on this. Underneath this video, you'll find a link to an article with the VAT rates for the different European countries. And you may also want to speak to a company called Intercultural Elements. And again, there's another link underneath this video tutorial for you. They are specialized in helping businesses in Europe, or to break Europe. So if you really do want to get into Germany, you really do want to get into France, Spain, or Italy, then basically go and speak to the team over at Intercultural Elements. And the two people you want to speak to is either Scott or Anya. And it's a husband and wife team, and they've been around the block for years and know e-commerce and marketplace e-commerce backwards.
Next consideration we have is Amazon FBA. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, FBA just stands for Fulfillment by Amazon. This basically means that you can send your products and go and store them in Amazon's warehouse, and Amazon will pick, pack, and ship your items for you. Now, this is quite a contentious one within e-commerce circles, because some people love it and it saves them a lot of money. For other people, it's way too expensive. So if you've got the right products, it's fantastic. And the great news is, if Amazon doing the pick, pack, and shipping for your products, then your customers can't leave you any bad defect rates for them, because Amazon will take the hit for you.
Yeah. Oh, and they also do the customer services as well, which is also important if you're considering Germany, for example, because they'll do the customer service there for Amazon orders in Amazon DE. Now, there is one other little note here. Go really wary of the Amazon European Fulfillment Network, or EFN. Okay, now, I made the special note because make sure you do your numbers. It can get very expensive, and you could end up paying your customers to buy from you. So do your numbers and check the numbers before you even look at the Amazon European Fulfillment Network. Dave, also staying on the topic, Amazon repricing.
Exactly, and Amazon repricing is a fantastic option for you, and it's all about picking the tool which works best for you.
That's right. Now, Shamuli from Feedvisor.com would argue with me on this one that my simple Amazon repricing rule is too basic. However, it does work, and if you'd like to know more about that, there's a link underneath this video tutorial for you. But our key point here is that if you are using repricing on Amazon, make sure that the software which you're using does also support the other international sites which you want to go and migrate and expand your business on there. And make sure that they can factor in different or extra values to set different price calculations so that you still make money. Going back to number one and number two, profit and profitability. So make sure that they can account for these extra factors, especially when it comes into different currencies, for example. And then the final topic, outsourcing. Now, this topic is worth its own video course by itself. And that's something which we're going to do at Understanding Eve. However, in the interim, think of the globe as being your new potential source of members of staff, skilled members of staff. So you can pick up qualified members of staff at much lower cost to you and your business if you do your homework and treat the process exactly as you would do if you were recruiting someone for inside your office. Now, Dave, if this sounds a little bit scary for someone, we do have a suggestion on this one, don't we?
We do, and that is to speak to our good friend Carlo over at secondoffice.co. And Carlo basically runs an office out in the Philippines, and you can rent and you can actually have a full-time member of staff, or you can get hours of jobs that you can then assign to different members of staff. And effectively, he will manage, he has managers there who will make sure that your remote staff members, your outsourced staff members are working on what you want them to work on. And not only that, they are e-commerce experts.
Yeah, that's the point which I was just going to add in there, is that they're not just general virtual assistants, for example. They're specialised in e-commerce, hence the suggestion to go and speak to Carlo and Second Office, because we know what kind of team he's got in place over there and how specialised they are in e-commerce, and you do need specialised support for multi-channel e-commerce, and Carlo's team can help you. So Dave, in summary,
this has been quite a sort of in-depth look at why cross-border trade or selling internationally doesn't have to be difficult.
That's right. So let's just quickly summarise this. Number one, selling internationally isn't hard. Don't get bogged down in all these foreign languages, because language really isn't a barrier for you and your business, because go English, go simple. Again, don't choose like the hardest way to do something when there's all this low-hanging fruit right in front of you. So that's all the English-speaking marketplaces.
That's how I was speaking to a chap the other day who was really adamant he wanted to start selling Mercado Libre down in Brazil. And it's like, well, do you even sell on eBay.com yet? No. Well, that is the much lower hanging fruit, which will give you the much quicker return.
Yeah, don't get caught up in all the marketing fluff, all the marketing hype. Start small. Get good software into place and do the complicated ones last. And like I mentioned, there's a little dare in here for you. We dare you to exhaust the English-speaking sites. The reason being is that if you do the English-speaking site like ebay.com, ebay.ca, amazon.com, amazon.co.uk, ebay.co.uk, eBay IE for Ireland, eBay Australia, okay, exhaust those options first. The reason being is that if you exhaust those options and do them really well, and they're all in your native language, which is English, then you're going to go back to points number 1 and number 2, profit and profitability. And there is no other reason other than these two reasons, profits and profitability, for you to expand your business internationally. It's not bragging rights. It's not to keep an account manager happy. It's all about profit and profitability for you and your business.
And let's just think about this logically, Matt, is that if we have opened up the English-speaking sites first and you've seen that increase in profit, that just means that you've got more money then to do the translation piece the right way.
Yeah, and that's again, do it properly. So with that said, we both sincerely that this video tutorial has been in help to you and your business, that it's been and cleared away some of this marketing fluff which is out there, and just go English, go simple. So with that said, from myself, Matt.
And from me, Dave.
Cheerios. We both hope that you found this video tutorial useful. If you have, then subscribe to be kept up to date with more Magento themed tutorials.
Back before myself and Matt started building Understanding E, I was under the impression that Magento was really nerdy and that you almost needed to be a developer to get the most out of it. And now, I know that that just doesn't have to be the case.
That's why we built Understanding E, to show you that Magento is really easy to use and you can use it for your business to sell onto eBay and Amazon, and most importantly, that a degree in Nerd is not required.
If you would like to find out more about us and gain access to over 150 non-nerd step-by-step video tutorials on Magento, then please visit us at understandinge.com.
And we'll see you there. Cheerios!